Welcome back to the Director's Garage, everybody. Just hanging out here listening to some music. That's a favorite song. Welcome back to the Director's Garage Live. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael. We got ourselves some levels set. I'm going to take the headphones off here. Got the Sennies today. 4-H Club, happy hour, hump day. Hangout here at the Director's Garage. We're on normal time. And I'm going to start with, you guys talked about it in the chat a little bit. This news broke about 90 minutes ago. Legendary guitarist Jeff Beck from the Yardbirds, and he had an incredible solo career. He died at the age of 78 from bacterial meningitis. It's a respiratory disease. He died in his sleep. I believe it was yesterday, and they just reported it today. Jeff had a defining 60s fuzz tone guitar sound that was represented on songs like Shapes of Things and Heartful of Soul. Those are his biggest popular hits. And then he went on to kind of hard rock and fusion in the 70s and came out with some solo instrumental albums, most notably Blow by Blow and Wired. If you're interested in checking any of those out, it might be a good day to brush up on your classic rock guitarist. He was an amazing guitarist, worked with Rod Stewart and did work with, I believe he was in Blues Breakers for a while. He and Clapton really drove the Yardbirds sound, and then Jimmy Page came in just before Led Zeppelin started and took over for Beck. And in 92, I think he was inducted as a member of the Yardbirds into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And when they asked him his reaction, or, is he excited? He said, F no, they fired me. So, acerbic and witty as well. So Jeff Beck dead at the age of 78. That's how we're starting the show today. I don't have any real agenda for the show, but when that news hits, it's like, another great one is gone, because the guy could play, just outright play. He was fantastic. He never made the stature of, say, Clapton. I felt like he was, always fighting for oxygen amongst the guitarists, the super guitarists, and he was a super guitarist. He was that good, technically. It just, he never really got with the right band or put together the right, the Yardbirds remained sort of his highlight as far as popular stuff, and then his solo musicianship. But there's no question about how great this guy was as a guitarist. He just never quite made that upper stature of Clapton, Page, and Townsend and Gilmore, and the great super guitarists of his era. But still, just an amazing musician, and it's sad. Nobody likes seeing our guitar heroes pass away, and but he lived a full life. 78. It's not anything to sneeze at. If I can make it 78, I think we're all doing pretty good. That's the news that we start today's episode with. As far as me, I am in recovery today. I have been on a whirlwind. I was in Palm Springs on Thursday for the Palm Springs International Film Festival. We shot all day and all night there. Back in LA on Friday for a shoot, and then the weekend we were sort of cleaning up after storm number 1 and prepping for storm number 2 that blew in the last 2 days. So director was on the roof of the house cleaning out gutters. So glamorous. And cleaning out some storm drains and, things like that. So that's kind of what I did then. And then yesterday was the Golden Globes. So from Monday, I had the TCAs, which is it's basically a convention for one of the networks. In this case, it was Paramount Plus, and they bring all of their stars from their upcoming series in, and they sit down in a room, and we go 11 straight interviews, back to back to back to back to back. and knock them all out. And then yesterday was the Golden Globes, which is another full day on my feet with the broken toe. It was special. So I've been really busy. I have not even shot the next episode, though it's written. I was hoping to get to that this weekend, but the rain gutters got in the way. I actually had one rain gutter that was so filled up with crap, there were plants growing out of it. A little planter instead of a rain gutter up there, so that got cleared out. We're all good. But yeah, so it's sad we're starting out with Jeff Beck, and I can see you all have got your own memories and thoughts about it. We'll go through those in just a second here. Let everybody a chance to filter through. I called up one little. What did I do here? Oh, we're good. Called up one obit, as it were, and that's here. There's this obit on Rolling Stone Records, or Rolling Stone Magazine, I should say. Yeah. So, sorry of his passing. It's basically everything I just said. I read an article and was reading about it before I went on the air, and yeah, he went in on his own too. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on his own, and then he was also put in as a member of the Yardbirds, which he kind of renounced in his own very colorful way. So yeah, there you go. There's Jeff Beck and his beautiful Stratocaster. He had his own Strat line for Fender. That was kind of cool. But so it's never great when you see one of your guitar heroes pass away. So let's go through a couple of the chats while we're here. Mike Donalo, yes, rest in peace, Jeff Beck, obviously, yes. JTB says, yeah, one of those, that one stings. Jeff Beck was well respected by other guitarists and considered a legend. Definitely, no question there. But he never really got his due. Yeah, and I felt that. That's what I was sort of alluding to, JTB, when I was talking about, he just never quite made it to that considered level of, although he was technically, with Clapton and, especially Clapton. You think of Jeff Beck, you always think of Clapton. First of all, Beck succeeded Clapton in the Yardbirds, and they did have their two of the Yardbirds' biggest hits were with Jeff Beck, at the helm of the guitars. And I imagine that it really hurt him not to be in a band. Clapton was in Cream, and he was in Blind Faith, and Derek and the Dominoes, and, he had all of those accolades. And then the Clapton is God that got written in, all over London. And I wonder if he had been in, latched onto a couple of bands, if he would be considered much differently. I don't know. We'll never know. But, still, amazing musician and left us some great music to listen to. I'll be checking some out tonight for sure. Digging back through. I have a couple of records here. I don't know if I have a lot of his stuff. So, Adnan, hello from the cold Midwest. Stay warm, dude. A little cold out here today, but we're bracing. We got another round of rain coming in LA. So, yeah, I got one more drain that needs some attention. I'll try to get to that this week. Anthony Berryman says, ML Jenkins, cheers to you, buddy. Cheers, everybody. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. Good evening from the UK. Michael and guys, very sad news about Jeff Beck. One of his best friends played with him a few times. Yeah, and he also, in recent years, he was playing with Johnny Depp. I think they did some recording together, and yeah, that was, he's been around. He also restored classic Ford hot rods. #random. But yeah, that was one of the things he did in his passion as he, was sort of in semi-retirement. Adnan, oh man, Jeff Beck was awesome. Just heard here. Yeah. Another real legend, like Jason Becker, still writing music and fully paralyzed, but using his eyes. Oh, hi. respect to guitar legends, of course. Cleaning the populations was never a storm drain complaint. Daniel Foster. Spicy. Blessings to Michael. We will get through this. Yes. Single coil pickups. Noise gate modifier. Quakier than quackers. Yeah, he really had a distinct tone for sure, and we owe him that. You know, he gets his due. I mean, he and probably Jimi Hendrix were the two that really put fuzz, you know, really promoted fuzz as a sound. Fantastic. You know, what a fantastic musician. And then, of course, you know, Page definitely got into all kinds of distortion and things like that, and Clapton had his own tone, but he had such a great tone. Clapton's, I think, was one of the greatest. Page's guitar tone was always a little bit on the thin side. Clapton had a meaty, beefy guitar sound, especially by the time he'd gotten to Derek and the Dominoes. When you listen to Layla, of course, that's layered, you know, multi-layered guitars and stuff. Mrs. Director in the house.
Mrs. Director's exhausted.
Mrs. Director was underwater yesterday in her office.
Mud water.
Had a very rough day. I was underwater on the red carpet at the Golden Globes.
I was just underwater.
Yeah, she's just underwater. Oh my. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. So I don't have a huge agenda for today. I just don't have much. I'm in between episodes. I'm waiting on some product to get here. I've got some new headphones on the way that I'm going to show off. I'm super excited about. That's going to be coming in the upcoming. You know, one thing, though, I should tell you, check out in the comments below this episode, down, you know, under here, virtually. I've got a whole list of additional stuff I've put for sale on the Director's Garage sale. Now, some of the stuff is a little on the high end, shall we say, and that's the stuff that I'm not really anxious to get rid of, like the Susvara. But there are some things down there that maybe you'd be interested in, and that I did price quite, so we say, competitively with the market. Trying to clear out some stuff around here to get some new things in, and so I can't keep everything, so I'm going to see what sells and then base some new purchases based on this director's like, get this shit out of the house. What? I keep it in my office. I keep it in the garage here. Cheers to that. We'll drink to that. Anthony Berriman says, yes, Bloom Audio is now selling pre-owned gear. Yes, I saw that. I got that email today. Good for them. I still recommend Audio 46 because I'm biased and they treat me well. But yeah, if you're looking for some used gear, that's a place to go. Obviously, headfi.org, great place to go. And that's where I pick up a lot of stuff used. And yeah, good place to get some stuff. Daniel Foster says Jeff Beck did better than Poppy Clapton. Yeah, I think that's an opinion and a matter of taste. You know, whatever you like is great. There's nothing wrong with liking all of it. I mean, you know, I enjoy that. I like music. I like all music, and I appreciate people who can do things with instruments that I can't. Because Lord knows I've tried over the years. Never been successful. Not on that level. Okay, let's see. Michael, will you be getting the new Noble TWS into review? I would imagine so. I had some discussions with John, and I think that he probably would send one my way, and they're not terribly expensive anyway. And I'm always anxious to hear what Noble does that's new in the IEM space. So that would be something that I think you can expect to see here at some point in the next few months. I want to get John on the show. I want to get John on. My dream episode is to get a Zoom interview with John from Thailand, from the rice paddies of Thailand. If I could pull that off, I would be a pretty happy dude. I would love to see that. Wouldn't that be cool to have, you know, the guy who designs and handcrafts all of those amazing noble products and get him live, you know, somewhat, or, you know, at least live to tape here on this show, and be able to show off stuff and learn about how he comes up with, you know, it just amazes me that, you know, it's like I'll look at this and go, oh, Healthy Feet. Not that I'm plugging O'Keefe's Healthy Feet, but he'll go, hey, you know, if I squish this down and I could shape this into an IEM, and it would be amazing translucent blue. And I'm going, I just saw like a case for my foot cream. It keeps my feet from getting too cracked. Bloom sends candy when you buy stuff. Whoa! I'm blown away. Adnan, I did not know that. I think I've only bought a couple of cables or something from Bloom, but they were real nice to me. I called over there a couple times looking for something, and they seemed like good guys. I think what happened was, this was back when I was looking for an Odin, and Bloom is sort of responsible for the relationship I developed with Audio 46, because I was looking for a Founders Edition of the Odin back when I started this show, because the Odin was new, and I thought, well, this is a great way to sort of make a stamp, you know, get like a hot headphone that just came out and do it on the show. And that was when I started developing, you know, how I was going to review stuff and what the format would be and how it was going to be different from other shows, and it's kind of forming, you know, getting those creative things going in your head and thinking about how to do it. And so I tried to get something from Audio 46 that said, no, we only have a regular edition. So I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want the Founders Edition. Like, it didn't cost any more. You just get an extra shit with it. So I was like, you know, I'm going to try and find that. So I called over to Bloom, and Bloom had a set. And I was about to do a deal with Bloom, and Audio 46 contacted me back, said, hey, wait a minute. Before you go with Bloom, and because I explained to them that, you know, that I found a pair over there, and I was being honest with them, and they said, well, wait, we got an extra pair, and we're going to sell, and I'll tell you what, we'll give you a discount on them just for going with our show. And then that developed our relationship towards getting you guys a 5% discount and all that stuff through this show, and then them sending me some blind packages that I could unbox on the show. That's where I came up with the idea for doing blind unboxings, which I think are so fun. And I think we've got one coming up, because I got a notification of a shipment from Audio 46, and I haven't seen one in about a month. So, and I don't have any of their headphones. So, I think they're going to send us something to unbox on the show, and it'll be a blind unboxing. And I love doing those. Those are my favorite episodes to do. I love the excitement of it, not knowing what's in the box. You don't know, I don't know, and we just open it up on the show and explore this thing together, and whatever happens. That's my favorite episode to do, because it's just, there's an excitement there, and I think it translates through to the episode, and it's always fun to do. Yeah, so that's really cool. Adnan says he feels Mark Knopfler is one of the most underrated ones and truly unique. But again, Dire Straits, like, Knopfler made that next level because of a band, and I wonder, like, I'm trying to think, like, Hendrix was able to do it on his own. You know, I mean, he had Band of Gypsies and stuff, but it was his band. Like, it was just him. And Jeff Beck had Jeff Beck Group and some of the other things. Hendrix somehow managed to break through, but he had a virtuosity that I don't think even Beck or Clapton could touch. I mean, there was something extra going on with Hendrix, and maybe you could say maybe it's the drugs, but I mean, they were all on drugs back then, so it can't be just that. Maybe he had better drugs, or you know, who knows. But Knopfler had you know, he was the king of clean. He had the clean guitar, the clean Strat sound. And that was different too. That was different when it came out. Nothing sounded like, you know, that's the best thing about the great guitarists, is you can identify them instantly and nobody else sounds like them. And he could sing too. You know, that's the other thing. And Beck really can't sing. Beck was not a singer. But I agree with you, you know, and God, listen, those Dire Straits albums are, you know, great test records to this day. Love Over Gold and, God, Brothers in Arms, first digital recording, one of the first digital recordings, I should say, their first digital recording. Sultans of Swing, their first album. Communique is still one of my favorite. That's the one that gets the least amount of airplay, and it's the one that I think is maybe arguably their best. That's their second album. It just got buried because Sultans of Swing was such a huge, massive... I mean, there's headphones named after it. Yeah, you know, it's great stuff. Still selling the Susvara even after getting the Bakun 13R for them? Well, yes and no. If somebody wants to overpay, because $4,600 for a Susvara is too much, you can get a Susvara now on the used market for $38,000. Right? So if somebody really wants the Susvara badly, yeah, I'll let them go. I'm like, I can go. The only thing I'm really married to, like, that I don't want to get rid of, really don't want to get rid of, is the Abyss 1266. I don't want to get rid of these the brand new Viking Ragnar. That's staying. I'm not getting rid of those. And I think the Mezes. I love Mezes headphones, and I'm like, I use them too much. I enjoy them too much. It's like everything else, though. I'm like, I'd get rid of them. And the Bakun, as you're going to find out, if I can ever get this next episode out, has there is juice there. It's not just for the Susvara kids. It's like, that's a righteous headphone that does amazing things to most of my headphones. So yeah, so there's that. But I'm not selling the Bakun R, notice. That's going to stay because I need the backbone, you know, of the place. At least that's going to stay for a while until I get something else that I really like even more. I'm going to be doing a special video on gutter guards. No, they're going to be a sponsor. JTB. I mean, we got to parlay this shit. let's get gutter guards. Let's get the, you know, put these on your home for $49.99 a foot. You know, whatever the hell it is. And we'll give you a Director's Garage discount. 5% off gutter guards. That's the plan. It's awesome. Beck and Knopfler both ditched the pick and played with their thumb and fingers. Yeah, there's a lot of players that would play a lot without a pick. But yeah, they were good. I mean, you know, it's a faster way to play in some regards. If you learn that Spanish style where you can use your fingers, use all your fingers. God, those guys are amazing. You know, the flamenco players, those guys are awesome. Just saw the full list. So you're selling off the Susvara. You will keep the Bakun. Yeah, I would keep the Bakun because it's such a good backbone of this headphone situation. You know, like, I'm gonna need some stuff to be able to, you know, listen to headphones. So I'm gonna need an electrostatic amp, and I'm going to need a good solid state amp, and I'm going to need a good tube amp. So I've got a great tube amp in the WA whatever it is, 5LE. I forgot the name of them all. And then I've got the Blue Hawaii here, special edition, from Head Amp. I still would like to get, you know, a lot of people have written me either in the chat or privately sent me a message saying, hey, you know, before you see if you can't, and you know, and I'm looking for a deal. I need to find a deal. Try and get another electrostatic amp in here that's got more power than the Blue Hawaii, because you might be surprised you can get that bass out of the carbon at lower volume levels. And I'm like, well, that's actually appealing because that's something that I'm missing. My biggest problem is I've got to pump this. I wind up pumping the carbon. Pardon me, burping. Cheers, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I wind up blasting the carbon to ear-splitting levels because it gets so good. It's like you want to fly right into the sun and get the full sunburn. but then you're left with your ears ringing. And I'm not kidding, like literally ringing from the noise, from the sound. But it sounds so good, you know. It's tough. Age old, age old. What are y'all drinking today? Give me some names in the chat. And then John says Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan is... I mean, I grew up on Hendrix, and remember, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan came in when I was in my teens. That was when Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, started playing with Bowie, and then got his own deal, and released the first album. Drawing a blank on it now. Not Pride and Joy, but it's the one with Pride and Joy on it. And then, Stevie Ray Vaughan was like the end all be all. When I was, but you know, everybody knew. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan was a Texas version of Jimi Hendrix, and so I still actually, in some ways, it's tricky because Hendrix sounds of his era. And to a degree, I think Stevie Ray Vaughan sounds of his era. Certainly his later work. I think his earlier work is a little more universal and has a little more play. But if you listen to Hendrix more accessible stuff, he did a great song called Remember, and it only went on one record. I think it wound up on his greatest hits record too. But boy, if you listen to how he can sing that with... It's got a little syrupy on the lyric side, but the drive and the groove in that is so... That's like one of those that'll play. I mean, you know, Purple Haze and all that's great. I mean, nobody sounds like him. And Texas Flood. Thank you, John. But his sound was there. You know, there's no question he was riffing on Hendrix's Turf. But I still loved it. I loved it, man. I loved it. And I was like on board for that ride. And, you know, he died not far from where I lived. He was leaving a concert in Wisconsin at Alpine Valley. And he flew out in the dead of night and there was fog and thing careened into a mountain. They just didn't know the mountain was there, and it was the end. And it was a shame, too, because he had cleaned himself up. He had gone through withdrawal from heroin and really got his act together. And that last album, Instep, was, you know, the next evolution. It was like, you know, where he was going to go. The sky was the limit for this dude. Guitarist said, die too young for 100, Alex. Yeah, that was a tough one. That one actually hurt me because I grew up, because he was such a core, you know, he was of my era. So, you know, he was the hero that we looked up to. Hendrix was, I was 3 when Hendrix died. So, you know, I don't have like recollections of seeing him on TV or seeing videos or seeing, you know, concerts, going to Hendrix concerts. You know, I was 3. But he was, you know, revered by my generation as, you know, as somebody that we all listened to. And I had Hendrix albums, still have them because I never got rid of them. I have smash hits, and I have Are You Experienced and that. But the, you know, the Stevie Ray Vaughan albums, we bought them when they came out. You know, we were like rushing to the record store and like, I got to get the new Stevie Ray Vaughan album. You know, I loved all of it. I loved all of it. Beck and Knopfler both ditched. Oh, we did that. I'm a little behind here, or a little ahead maybe, depending on your perspective. Such a fun day. Almost no one has heard of Communique. Yeah, it's like the album that gets buried because everybody like either goes with Making Movies or Love Over Gold or, you know, the first one or Brothers in Arms. And I'm like, no, Communique, man. Check it out. Especially the drums on that album are amazing. Just amazing. And there's a great bass on Once Upon a Time in the West. It's great stuff. Great stuff on that album. Check it out. Communicate, Dire Straits. Recommended album for today. Hello. So is Texas Flood. Go listen to some Stevie Ray Vaughan tonight in Jeff Beck's honor. Great guitarist, man. Jeff Buckley, another one gone too soon. Encourage you to try power amp mode on the Ohr before sending it off if you have not. Measures better that way. I'll check it out. I'm a little bit hesitant to do things that are out of the manufacturer's recommendations. And I get that there are things that will sound better, and I appreciate that they'll sound better. I just need to make sure I'm not blowing up stuff that can blow up. And there are plenty of people, it's fine, it'll be fine, they can take it. And I'm like, great, until it does go horribly wrong. And then I'm like, I'm stuck with a brick that I can't monetize, and I'm out the money, and this show just loses money by the day. I gotta tell you, what I bought is coming. It's like, really, guys, it's just more money out the window. But it's fun. It's fun, man. It's what we do. It's awesome. The Z10E Energizer out of LTA is on the short list for me right now. I'm looking at that KVS SV, whatever the hell it is, from Molner, Moljner. I'm trying to find one of those. There's one on sale right now on HeadFi for about $2,500. There's also a couple of 13Rs over there, and I think somebody was selling a 23R on HeadFi too, which, a little tempting. But, I'm like, I got the 13R. It's the same voltage rating, so it's like, it's the same. Probably a little better, a little cleaner, but, still look at it and go, I wonder. Can't help it. It's the curse. It's the curse, boys. He was 17 when he saw Stevie Ray Vaughan back in '87. It was nothing like he'd ever seen. Yeah, I think we all have those concerts that we remember. I remember seeing. Concerts is a great topic for an episode. Just talk about some of our favorite concerts. Check out Jeff Beck's Freeway Jam. Yeah, that's a great one. I think I know the track you're talking about, JTB. One of my favorites was I saw George Thorogood. Talk about great guitarists. That 50s rockabilly style, but his own spin on it, no question. So George Thorogood, I saw him in a small venue in Chicago called the Avalon Ballroom. And it was one of those with just folding chairs. Folding chairs. And so everybody's on their feet. And one of my favorite things about the Thorogood concert was he has a moment that's sort of like built into every show where he goes, do you guys want to hear you guys want to hear rock or do you want to hear the blues? And I think everybody says rock typically in those concerts, you know what I mean? And in Chicago, everybody yelled blues. And he wound up doing a blues set. And it was so good. It was so good. So good, man. It was awesome. Tiny little ballroom, George Thorogood just jamming out to it. I've been into some great concert moments. I saw Chuck Berry play Chicago Fest at the Petrillo Band Shell, which is downtown Chicago. It's the old Petrillo. Now they've got this fancy Frank Gehry designed like outdoor space, but they used to have this old band shell. And I've been to that band shell a number of times. I saw Ray Charles there. I saw Aretha Franklin there. But they had Chuck Berry headlining Chicago Fest one year. And he's jamming away, and Bo Diddley opened for him. Bo Diddley opened for Chuck Berry. How awesome is that? And so Bo Diddley did his thing, and then Chuck Berry came out, and about halfway through the Chuck Berry set, he goes, now I'm going to bring out one of my good friends. He flew in all the way from London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Richards. And Keith Richards came out and jammed with Chuck Berry at Chicago Fest. It was like 1987 or 1988. Unbelievable set. That was like one of those moments, we were there, man. We saw it. Silly on some regard, but it was cool. It was definitely something to see. Timothy Egan, that's how he runs his. Yeah, on power amp mode. It was disappointed otherwise. Match the headphone to the preamp. Great with Susvara and the LCDX. The LCX. LCDX, I think you mean. What the Ferrum does real well is it does the Abyss 1266 TC. That is a synergistic dream. That is a fantastic sound, and as I've discovered, the Bakun is equally up to the task on the harder to drive stuff. Just having more amps on hand, it just helps, really helps. Pay attention to gain, but you have infinite options for preamp matching. Exactly designed. We're going back and forth. This is it's designed to run that way. Switch in the back. Just need a good quality preamp. That's all. I've got a few preamps. Not like the Susvara adapter where it's risky. Yeah. Further improving, upgrading firmware for the power supply. I think I've done that on that. I did it once anyway on the because when I first got the Ferrum stack, it didn't have. It had all the stuff listed for what it could drive for I'm talking about the Hypsos, which is again the worst name ever for a product. What are they thinking? But the Hypsos came and they've got all these presets in there to like hook up your thing, but it didn't have the OR listed. Wait a minute, you're selling this as a stack, but you don't even have your own product listed. You had to upgrade the firmware inside of the Hypsos in order for it to show you the OR and select the OR for an option, and then it all synced up and worked well. I thought that was funny though. First time you turn it on, it's like, where's the OR? The OR's not there. Why isn't the OR there? You're like, oh, firmware. Fantastic. It's great. Make you feel better. The 23R FOMO. There's a thread where someone measured the DC offset with quick volume changes. Now that is dangerous if it's happening. Yeah. So you're talking about like there's spikes in the volume with when you change quick. Here's the other problem. Here's the problem on the Bakun. A quick turn of the volume knob. Allegedly, and I haven't done this, but allegedly it will change inputs. That's how you go from input 1 to input 2. It's just turn it real fast. They did some wacky ass shit on the Bakun. Like, I understand the idea to be minimalistic, but you'll see when I do the Bakun episode next. There's some wacky ass. They made some decisions, boys, that I'm like, you're just scratching your head. You know what I mean? This is killer. It drives me crazy. It was so fun. Yeah, some volume spikes. Yeah, that's horrible. And it's the same. Same thing when I was using the Carbon for the first time. And I put them in. It's like they have the stacks farting situation where the diaphragm will short on the stator, and it creates a pop. And it happens because you put the seal in, and the air doesn't have anywhere to go, so it just flexes. It flexes the driver, flexes the diaphragm, and when that shorts, it's like crack and a pop that's so loud, and it's right in your ears. It really was if they could, I wound up sending it back to Audeze, and they did a fix on it. They did a rev on it. Still hasn't gone away entirely, but it's much better than it was. But that is like a major downer. Like, that is a rough thing. You're bracing yourself for impact when you put those things on your head and they're powered up. It's like, bam, you're gonna get it. It's gonna happen. It's just how bad it's gonna be. Yeah, it's never a fun time. But I am hoping I can find a nicely powered electrostatic amp that will outdrive the quality of the delivery on the Blue Hawaii is fantastic. I mean, it's a great sounding amp. It's just you just gotta on the Carbon, it's just you got to give it so much volume to be able to engage that bass and really kick it into gear. And I'm shamelessly somewhat of a bass head, so there you go. Cheers, everybody. We are 40 minutes into this live stream. How about that? We've covered our favorite guitarists. We've talked about some headphones. Paid tribute to Jeff Beck. Talked about the dangers of volume spikes. Some of our records. It's fantastic. What a stream. We're all over the place. But that's what happens when I don't have an agenda. But everybody who's had the 23R, well, the hard part is separating the honest reviews from people who own it and want to like it. And that's the hard part. That's the because people tend to want to like their stuff, and they want others to give them affirmation that their stuff is as great as they think they hear, and that's all fine. So finding an honest assessment, of likes and dislikes, and it's like it's tricky. It's tricky when you're going for honesty and you're just trying to get like, what am I hearing, and am I hearing what others are hearing, and whatever. And I'm much more like, I think I'm pretty unbiased, because I'm willing to say I don't like something, even if it's something that everybody else is liking. And I got plenty of examples of that. Like I buck the trend on a lot of things. The HD-820, this headphone right here, is a headphone that, if you can stand the soundstage, does amazing things. But it's got a quirky ass soundstage that's all over the place. Like it's gonna send stuff at you from non-traditional places, and it's alarming and it's jolting. And it's kind of like, when you use crossfeed, it's like, crossfeed just messes with where things are in placement in the soundstage, and how the depth and the width of the soundstage. And that's what this does. It just takes a Cuisinart to the soundstage, and then it delivers it to you. But the tonality of this is really nice. Like, there's great bass. There's great, it's really nice, and they're reasonably fast, and it does some great technical things, and I enjoy them a lot. It's just, you have to accept that, stuff's not going to sound traditional, and it's kind of its own one-trick pony, and it probably is something that I think people could tire of pretty quickly. Anytime somebody does something that's sort of out of the norm, it's like, well, it's doing this, and you think that it's special, but it's really something that it's the one thing that it does. But I actually enjoy the 820s, and I'm like one of the few. I think it used to be, I don't know if it still is, it was the lowest rated headphone on Crinical's list. It's like an F- or something. Like, well, I like them. What am I going to say, Maybe my hearing sucks. I don't know. I like them, though, And I still do. I still use them. I think this is one of the, and beyond that, it's one of the best looking headphones ever made. I mean, you get the kind of coolness of the HD-800, and then they put it behind Gorilla Glass. I'm like, I don't know what they're thinking, but man, somebody went into overdrive when they were designing these things. It's like, they're really cool. They're one of the coolest headphones ever made. So I love them, and I got them for such a good price. I think I paid $900 for these things or something. Somebody was just unloading them. They're like, I've had enough of them, and I'm like, yeah, I'll try. And they're comfortable. They're super comfortable. I'm like, I don't know. I'm weird. I don't think they're as good as the Meze Elite, the Meze Lyric. I think the Meze Lyric is a better sounding headphone. I still use these. I like them. It's so weird. And they really sound great, by the way, with the Bakun. Like the Bakun does things to this that's like, damn. It's impressive. They give you an interesting take on the music. But I know I'm in the minority, and I'm probably, you know, everybody's gonna think I'm nuts. I don't care. I'm not afraid to tell you I like something. Yeah, the real electrostatic. Find someone to build you a Kevin Gilmore. Now, the KGS-SHV, which is the big long list of. I mean, can they call it something? Do I have to remember KGS-SHV? Molner, MOLJNER, something like that, whatever it is. It's like a Swedish thing, or I don't know. It's Scandinavian. They build that, but I think Kevin Gilmore did the design on that, but he never built it. And then other people have taken the design and actually put it into a product. I'm not sure how all that works, Ken, but I know that, yeah, that's one that everybody says, you know, that's the way to go. So, yeah. Saw someone criticize the 23 for the roll-off on the top and bottom, smaller sound stage of crossfeed. Crossfeed may actually be a plus if used for some headphones, I suppose. Yeah, I don't get into it that much because it is kind of a gimmick. And why do I need crossfeed when I've got a headphone that does it naturally? Oh, man. I'm just tooling on stuff today. I don't know. It's fun. ML Jenkins, Death Star feeling on those 800s. Now, here's something we should do. I have the Death Star. What if I powered these with the Dark Star? Get the Death Star and the Dark Star pairing. What would that be like? Be the darkest, deadest amp sound you've ever heard. That's a dream. That's a dream. Now I got to find me, because somebody was selling a Dark Star on HeadFi, a used one, and I'm like, for like $2,500, I'm like, if I had the money, if I wasn't pursuing some other things and stuff that I really need, oh my God, there's 2 amps right now on HeadFi that I'm like, somebody ought to buy these things, because there's a Dark Star for sale. Ray Samuels amp, and then there's a Cavalli liquid fire for sale. Great tube amp, $2,100. And the Dark Star was like $4,000 new, like when it came out. It was unbelievable. And somebody's selling it for $2,500. Unreal, so good, so good. If I had the money, I'd be all over them, because you know you can't undesign a great amp. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to undesign itself. It's going to be great. Carol Kadzierski. Carol, welcome to the Director's Garage Live. We've never had you on the show before. We cheers people who come in for the first time. That's how we do it around here. It's BYOB. It's just a happy hour hangout. We're just messing around. We talk headphones. We talk barbecue. We talk guitarists. And we talk, you know, concerts. Stuff we've seen. Why not? It's just for fun, man. It's all for fun. It's a place to just connect, guys. That's all we're doing. Okay. Carol says he spent some time with the HD-820. Confirmed they're quite horrible in tuning and messed up soundstage. I don't think they're that bad in tuning. I like them. You also tried the lyrics. Didn't like them at all. And I love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are fantastic. It's one of the best closebacks I've ever heard. And he loved the Dan Clark's and Noir. I love those too. I thought they were great. So yeah, I don't know. I think the HD-820, the lyric, and the Dan Clark Aeon Noir, Aeon 2 Noir, those are probably the 3 best. That and the Verite Close, which I've yet to hear, are the best. I heard the Stealth and I didn't like them. I thought the Stealth was bass. Meh. You know what I mean? They didn't impress me at all. And I listened to them on 2 different rigs, and I'm like, I just don't hear it. I don't think they're coming through the way they need to come through. I was impressed by the sound damping of those things, though. They were the quietest experience I'd ever had in a passive, headphone without active cancellation. That metamaterial shit works. Pardon me burping. Cheers, everyone. 420 in LA. Kevin Gilmore was an electronic engineer professor at Northwestern, my old neighborhood. He drew up a bunch of designs and offered them up for folks to build. Yeah, some folks monetized, and he gets a cut for the commercial use. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like shareware. Remember when we had shareware, and people would just like write apps and stuff, and you could donate? Yeah, that's kind of cool. No, and that, yeah, that's how I understood it too. I didn't know he was getting a kickback though. I thought he just offered up he would design the plans. I didn't know that he was actually getting some money back for that. That's good. Good for him. He should. He designed the damn thing. Johnson Adakunle. Adakunle? I want to pronounce these names because I love good names. That's a good name. Johnson, cheers to you, buddy. Will I review the SRX9000? I would love to. The biggest obstacle is money, or getting somebody to send me one. And we're a small show. I'm closing in on the big 5,000 subscribers. I've been a little slower getting there because I haven't been able to get episodes out as regularly. But it's on my short list. I have a short list of stuff that I like. It's like in my head, things that I really want to get into the show, and I've got one of them coming up, fortunately, and I'm excited. I'm going to be excited to show that off. And certainly I've been talking for a long time about getting the Viking in here. The Viking Ragnar, as it turned out, was the one that I got, the version of it that I got, thanks to Noble. Great guys over there. And then what was the other one that I did just recently? Another big headphone I did. But I have a short list of stuff that I want to hear, that I want to get in here. And then I have stuff that's sort of like, when I get to it. The short list is definitely the the SRX9000, the D8000 Pro. And according to, somebody sent me a note that said that Zeos says that the new limited edition has sonic gains over the actual, Pro version. I'm like, whatever. So I was interested in but anyway, I want to get the final audio in here. I want to get some representation of that final audio D8000 sound in here. I want to hear what they sound like. I'm very curious. It's not been on a short list for a long time. I just haven't found the deal. I haven't found the right deal. So something that I'm interested in, just hasn't quite put it together in a package that I can afford. And without breaking the show and tanking my ability to, get episodes out and keep the train on track. It'll get easier if I sell some of the stuff in the garage sale. I mentioned this at the top of the show, guys. Below, in the comments below, there's a whole bunch of shit for sale. Feel free to bid on. Just send me an email at directorsgarage@gmail.com, and some of the stuff is highly priced. Some of the stuff is is sort of like reasonably priced, and like actually a deal. It just depends on how badly I want to get rid of them, to be honest with you. It's too fun, man. It's all fun. I'm just doing it for fun. Have I heard any, Tommy V says, have I heard any Visioneers IEMs? No, I haven't. Just ordered me the Elysium featuring dynamic driver for the mids, balanced armature for the lows. Interesting. Dynamic driver for the mids, balanced armature for the lows. That's counterintuitive, but okay. And electrostatic tweeters for the highs. So that makes sense. Usually you put the dynamic driver for the lows, and then you do the balance for the mid. So that's an interesting lineup. It'd be interesting to hear what they sound like. Let us know. Report back. It's your show too, not just mine. Ken Workshop said hopefully he does. He doesn't know that for a fact yet. What? Somebody in music is getting screwed? Somebody in the music industry is getting screwed? That never happens. Oh God, so horrible. Need to make more first. I don't know. Emma, I don't know what that was referring to. JTB says the biggest disappointment headphone and the most pleasant surprised headphone. Name my biggest disappointment headphone and my most pleasant surprised headphone. Well, the biggest disappointment for me was the Focal Stellia. That was a headphone that I dropped a lot of money on, and I was prepared to love it. And everybody had been raving about him. Everybody had been raving about him. And I got him here, and I was just like, no. This is a bright headphone with mediocre bass and not terribly fast, like, comparatively. So that was my biggest disappointment by far. I like tucked my head between my legs and sold them quietly. Let them go on to another life. The surprise for me, I've had a few. I would say the Noble Sultan was like one of those holy, like, I can't believe what I'm hearing moments. That was great. That was a pleasant surprise. It shocked me. I didn't think a headphone would be that good. An IEM could sound that good, for sure. That would be on the short list. Disappointment. Another disappointment may be the first Abyss I got in. I liked it a lot, but it really fell short in certain areas. Surprise. Trying to think of a headphone that I like. The Sultan is the first one that comes to mind because that was just shocking. Like, I didn't know an IEM could deliver that kind of bass. It was just amazing. Just amazing. What an experience that was. The IEMs always surprised me. Definitely 7 Hertz Timeless. At least I had there was enough hype going into the Timeless that, like, it didn't surprise me when they sounded as good as they did for $200. But, that was a headphone that definitely was on that list. Trying to think. Anything else? I think the LCD-5 was a bit of an asterisk disappointment. I remember when I heard those the first time, I just was blown away by them at the show. The show's not a good environment to listen to anything in. But I was really impressed with them. I was impressed by the detail I was getting at the show. And then when I got them, I was like, these aren't giving me the bass that I wanted, But they've gotten better under the Bakun. So their bass performance actually got much better when I put better power to them. So they're kind of on the rebound right now. Oh, the LCD-4. That was a headphone that, like, the OG LCD-4. Somebody said, you really need to hear the OG LCD-4. And then I found a pair for, very reasonable. It was $1,900 on HeadFi. And I bought them, and they came in, and they had different pads on them and stuff. And I had no expectations. And I put them in, and I was like, damn, these are great. Damn, these are great. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't buy into this sooner. But isn't that what that's the fun of this show? That's what this show is. I think what I like about doing this show the most is, I don't watch everybody's reviews, and I basically just get stuff in that looks interesting and looks cool, or I hear some buzz about and go, oh, that'd be a cool thing to get in. And then I do it on the show, and then, you get whatever I react to. And I hope it's authentic. I certainly, you'll never see anything that's not authentic from me, because I don't want to do the show if I can't be myself, Maybe that's why we only have 4,000 subscribers instead of 100,000 subscribers, because I'm an acquired taste. The number of... Don't put sound effects in your videos. Sorry, dude. Go watch another show. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's my show. I'm satisfying my own sense of humor. I try to crack myself up, and hopefully other people find it funny too. JTB says his biggest disappointment was the Focal Utopia. Oh, I love the Utopia. You know, I mean, I still like the Utopia. It's not my end-all, be-all headphone, but it's got a place in my heart. You know, it's got a warm place, and it's really good on a tube. Like, on a tube, it's a really good headphone. Pleasant surprise was the Rad Zero. Everybody talks about the Rad Zero. That's a headphone. That's, you know, I have a short list of stuff that, you know, stuff that I really want to get in here. The Rad Zero is kind of on a long-term stuff. Like, that's on my longer-term, like, if I get to it and the right deal popped up, I wouldn't say no, but it's nothing that I'm like actively pursuing now. But it is a headphone. I believe you. I believe a lot of people who's here say it's great. The Jallerhorn. That was HATB, the Jallerhorn from Kennerton. Talk about like a 2-cent build, but a $3,000 sound. You know what I mean? Like, the sound was amazing, and I couldn't believe that they would get it to us in such a crappy package. Like, you couldn't put less effort into a build than the Kennerton Jallerhorn. Geez, I'm talking about the GS50. The sound on those things is like mind-blowing. It's like, oh my God, they've really got something great here. But I can't recommend the headphone. You should, if you're spending $1,500 on something, the damn thing ought to feel good, and the damn thing ought to not feel like it's going to fall apart in 4 seconds, you know. And that's a spicy take, but it's like, it's the truth, you know. You got to get some value for your money. Like, even if I don't like a ZMF headphone, the effort is there. There's clearly effort there. They put some serious effort into building that headphone. And I can appreciate it on a certain level no matter what. Because they put you can see the effort. You can see the time and that craftsmanship and the, you know, they were really going for something. And, you know, maybe they didn't hit the mark sonically, but I appreciate the effort. Like, I'm gonna like man up and admit that. Like, there's clearly effort here. And I don't think anybody goes in to make a bad headphone. But somewhere along the line, somebody came in with too much plastic into the Kennerton lab and said, maybe we can make it cheap by throwing all this cheap crap on it to hold it to your head. And somebody should have put restraints on and go, guys, we've got a really good sounding set of ear speakers here. Let's put it into a killer knockout design. Like, that's something that they should be charging $3,000 for. That's how good the sound is on the Jallerhorn. But I can't recommend them because they're built like Tinker Toys. They're built like Fisher-Price headphones. It's horrible. So bad. So there you go. Little mini rant there. No, free of charge. Hey. Carol says, love my channel. It would be great to do a Monarch Mark II review. Curious about my opinion. Yeah, it's one of those that's kind of on the longer term list. A lot of people have done it by now. It's not something that I'm like, and honestly, like, I don't, this is going to be another spicy take. What's the audio doing? They had, in the Monarch Mark I, they had this gorgeous design. Like, it's, like, you look at it and go, that's a headphone I want to own. And Clairvoyance, too, another great one. Then they come out with the Mark II, and it looks like somebody vomited, and then they went, quick, put it in plastic. Like, have you seen, I'm not kidding, I'm going to make my point. Stand by, folks. We're going to go live to the internet. I'm on a roll. Let's go to The Audio. All right, it's not The Audio, it's Linsol. Right? Oh, let's bring a mic over so you can hear me. Okay, so we're going to go to Linsol. Okay, this is their new one, the Oracle, but wait. Products. And let's go to... Sorry, guys. I didn't have this planned, and that's, you know, that's always the kiss of death. The Audio. Look at this. No, not the... That's the Oracle. Back. Don't do that. Back. Here they are. In all their gorgeousness. What is this? What is that? It looks like vomit. It just looks like vomit encased in clear plastic. And I'm like, so let's go back in time. So can we do that on this? Can we look at the Mark 1? Is the Mark 1 on? Here we go. Well, this is the riff on the first. It's not exactly like this, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's like seashells or rocks or something. It's like it looks like something. I don't know what they were thinking. Can't stand those things. Like what are they? Like I don't want to spend $1,000 on something that looks like vomit. So there we go. Ken Workshop. Any luck with the ZMF Caldera? It's on the short list. That's definitely on the short list. Yeah, would love to get those in here. That'd be great. So, you know, it's one of those, it's like, got to find the right deal, got to find the right whatever. Got to put the funds together, whatever it is. Isoparametrics. Cheers, Isoparametrics. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. He got the shipping notice for the Diana TC ported ear pads today. Here's the deal with, in case you guys aren't familiar with what he's referring to. The Abyss 1266, which I was listening to this week, evidenced by the fact that they're right back here. What I did this week was I pulled out my, I whipped out my reel-to-reels. I try to only do that in private. And I was listening to Zeppelin Presence. Remember the Zeppelin Presence album? And I put this on for him. Come on, guys. This is the dorkiest looking headphone on the face of the planet. Talk about bad headphone, you know, ergonomics. 101 right here. But these don't sit on your, if you do it right, and you want the killer bass out of these, you extend these out so that they actually are loose on your head, and there's a gap. There's an air gap between the side of your head and the edge of the ear pad. And that's how you get the best bass out of the Abyss. They're not meant to be a seal on your ears the way other headphones are. I always talk about seal. There's no seal with the Abyss if you want to get their best bass performance out of them. So people wanted that on the Diana TC. And they were doing all sorts of crazy shit to get a little gap in there. And Abyss came out with a pair of snap-on pads that put the bass port in the ear pad. And you can buy them for the low price of Why we love Abyss in 3, 2. Honest to God. Headphone accessories. Here we go. The Diana. Nope. I want to find the ported. Oh, they don't have them here. Dang it. How much were those selling for? The ported. It's like $250. There we go. Yeah, base ported. Here we go. Base ported. They're on sale right now for $269, and they're out of stock, but their normal price is going to be $319 for the pads. Not kidding. $319 for the pads. That's Abyss, guys. That's Abyss. The only people in the world who have ever jacked up the price of their headphone by $1,000 after it's like 3 or 4 years old. You can't write this shit. Oh my God. And we pay for it because we're stupid. We're stupid headphone people. Big dumb guys, all y'all. He noticed his ears touching the screen since Michael said he didn't like that about the van is livable. Yeah, I don't like. It's my knock against the LCD-5 too, is that I don't like headphones that touch my ears, like touch my just close. I'm not a fan of it. Did I test any other headphones with your new Bakun amp? Yes, I did. That'll be in the next regular episode. There's a whole thing coming on that. Stay tuned, as they say. Thought he would say the Meze Elite would be a pleasant surprise. No, because I expect the reason I didn't say that is because I expected good things from the Meze Empyrean, and I got them. And then I pre-heard the Elite. I heard the Elite at the show, and it sounded to me like a better version of the Empyrean. Not drastically better, but like a good 15% better, maybe, Certainly, and they got some of the technicals better. It's still not like with the Endgame headphones, but it's not priced with the Endgame headphones either. It's $2,000 under what you'll pay for an Abyss or a Susvara, and I think it's probably rightly priced at that, and used you can get them for under $3 now, I think. So yeah, the Elite, I expected good things from the Elite, and I kind of had a little tip off because I saw them at the show. So I would say no, those weren't a surprise. No, I like them. I still like them, but just because I like something doesn't make it a surprise, I guess. I sort of anticipated they'd be pretty good. Isoparametric says, do I have any local audio shops you can demo a bunch of gear or meet? I don't, but I will tell you this: if you go to New York, if you're ever in New York or the New York area, seriously, and it's an endless plug. Audio 46, go to their store because they have everything and they'll let you hear it. And they're the best guys in the business. These guys are fun. They get it. They're enthusiasts like us. And they'll let you try anything. If you're in the New York area, go to Audio 40. It's a headphone mecca. It's a place to go where they have everything. You get your hands on stuff, and they'll set you up. And just go there and talk to those guys. They're all great. All the guys over there are fantastic. But I'm on the other coast, and there's nothing out here like that. There were some headphone meetups before COVID. COVID kind of screwed a lot of this stuff. We were talking about getting together, and I talked about bringing my Woo amp out and letting people listen to that, and we were on the path to that with some local guys, and then COVID screwed it all. So yeah. So there you go. Cheers, everybody. I think about another 15-20 minutes we'll do on today's stream, but we'll get through the chat for sure. Don't worry, if you have a comment down there, I'll get to it and read it live on the air. So yeah, that's what I would say. And then obviously, and Can Jam's here once a year. I mean, we're not into a hobby that there's stuff unless you're into the IEMs, which is nuts in Japan. It's bonkers. But you can go in Japan, there's headphone places everywhere, and you can go and listen to all the IEMs. IEMs are huge in Japan. Like there's nothing like the Japanese headphone IEM market. And there's new headphones every other week. But for the major over-ear stuff, there's only a couple releases a year. You'll be lucky if you get 2 or 3 headphones out of any given manufacturer, if that. And most of these things, they're long in the tooth. Like the Utopia sat there from 2014, I think, was the first Utopia year. 2015, maybe. It was around for a long time. They finally refreshed it just last year. So there you go. I think the Utopia is very amp dependent, and it's very hot in the treble to me. I think it's hot in the treble, period. I'd go one further, JTB. It's a hot headphone. The treble can be a little much, and that's why I think the tube works well with it. And you combined it with the Chord and the Chord TT2 and the M scaler, which are analytical and bright to begin with. Yeah, you kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball there. Yeah. I can see that, and that's a situation where that's why I love having the WA11 Topaz as like kind of an alternate. And I should get another, I should get another DAC in here. Maybe a Holomay something. That would be kind of cool to have as just a different take on things. Because you're right, that cord brightens things up a lot. And in some cases, it's great. When you're going for detail, damn, that thing can produce detail unlike anything. And on a detailed set of headphones like the Susvara, it's a great synergy. Isoparametrics agreed it was hot in the treble. Yeah, it's totally. You could handle it on the WA5, but it wanted more bass. Yeah, that's always the case. I actually, that's a headphone I want to do more listening to on the Bakun. Lava, isoparametrics. That's what he thinks that, yeah, I guess there's a little lava going in on that D audio, but I think they look like barf. I just looked at that. It looks like somebody's ulcer that they put in clear plastic. JTB says he's a big believer in diminishing returns. Oh, I think that's inherent in almost anything. He doesn't think it's worth spending thousands of dollars more for 10% improvement. There's something to be said for that. Totally something to be said for that. Not bad. Yeah, $269. Wince. Yeah, I'm crazy. Crazy, right? And what are they? They're probably 3D printing the damn plastic they put the thing on. He's kind of stopped caring about headphones over $2,000. He might make an exception with the stabilized Caldera at some point, if they're a no-brainer. But unanimous winner of top of the line headphone. Well, and again, JTB, this is what I say: buy used. Buy used. You can get most of this stuff is at least under $3,000, certainly under $2,000. There's a huge market. You can get the Utopia under $2,000. You can get the LCD-4 for under $2,000. You can get certainly any of the HiFiman stuff except for the Susvara. Susvara you can pick up for about $38, $35. I've seen them drop to $36. They're going to be in bad shape, but you can get them if with a little bit of patience and resourcefulness. Might miss a few on the way if you're trying to get them that low, but yeah, don't when you get up to that upper end stuff, don't buy new. And if you do, please go to Audio 46 and use the coupon code Director's Garage. It's the only way I make money on this show. Yeah. So yeah, use the coupon code Director's Garage, all one word. I got my plug in. Psych. Final Audio A5000. Isoparametrics. What's your favorite headphone for $500? People ask me all the time, and I'm not sure. Well, for IEMs, I would say, in an IEM, it's a no-brainer for me. I would say buy the Timeless, 7 Hertz Timeless. Just buy it. Just buy it. It's a $220 headphone or something. There's no reason not to buy it. I can't think of a reason not to buy it. And then scale it. Put a nice amp on it, and you're going to be amazed. You're going to be amazed. It's a freaking awesome headphone. Unbelievable headphone for what it is. Yeah, that's in the eye, and for the over ears, $500. I would say pick up a used Fostex TH-X00. Pick up an Ebony or a Purple Heart. That's a great deal at $500. Probably get them less than that now, if you're lucky. I think they came down a little bit. If you have a couple more $100, I'd say the Meze 9109, pretty good headphone for the price. $500. Sennheiser, kind of the boring answer, the HD-650. That's a good headphone for the price. I like it better than the drop tuning myself, having heard both. I have an answer, but it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what it is. I'm drawing a blank. I'm just drawing a blank. The Ananda Stealth Magnet, that you can get that for about $500. That's a good option. Those are good. Those are all good options in the $500 range. But my favorite in that range is still the TH-X00. I think it's a fantastic headphone. Can do so much, and it's so good. Audio Fool. Hey, all. Hey, Audio Fool. How are you? Arthur Haywood's. Oh, we did that one. Adnan Ferozi. He lives in the Midwest, and he studied grad school at Columbia in New York City. Lived there for 3 years. Audio 46 is really great, and named after 46th Street. It was probably me who thought maybe it was a play on 64 Audio. But it makes way more sense that it's 46th Street in New York City. And I'm going to take your answer as the final and correct answer. I am not afraid to be wrong on this show. If I'm wrong, I'll just say, hey, I was wrong. It's no big deal. I think it was me who probably said, I thought maybe they were playing off of 64 Audio, because they were one of the first products they had there that I noticed. So it's kind of interesting. But, go there. Just check it out. I can't wait. Next time I'm in New York, I just haven't been able to get to New York for whatever reason. Had the pandemic and all that stuff. And then we have my show, ET, has an office in New York. So they use their local directors. They don't send me out there for that stuff. Unless it's something really, a really big deal. And I'm not through trial. I've got so much going on. Just to let you know why the shows have slowed down, and I mentioned this at the top of the show. I've been in Palm Springs. I had the Golden Globes. I had TCAs on Monday, and it's a full day of shooting. I cleaned the gutters out over the weekend for the rain. It's one of those must-do things. I've got the Super Bowl coming up. I'm going to be in Phoenix for that. I've got next year's Super Bowl, which is going to be in Las Vegas. I'm going to prep that. We're going to scout that location so we can get ahead of it. I've got the SAG Awards, the Critics' Choice Awards, the Grammys, and the Oscars. All this stuff is coming up in the next couple of months. It's called award season if you're in the business, and we're in the middle of it. And it kicked off I'm so tired right now, and I'm so sore. I was on my feet for 17 hours yesterday. No, not 17 hours yesterday. On my feet for about 12 hours yesterday without sitting, and I was on my feet for about 7.5 hours on Monday. So it's just like I'm beating my body up every single day. And it's a lot. So yeah, so I'm a little, my voice is a little hoarse because I was shouting at the Globes yesterday trying to get stuff and get people and all that. So sorry I'm not in the best voice, but maybe my gravelly voice on top of the mic can get that proximity effect going on. Yeah, I'm coming at you. Number 1 in your hearts. Number 70 on the charts. Adnan Ferozi, yes. If only every city had something like Audio 46 to go try shit. Yeah, totally. That FiO Q7, Fat Fingers. That was FiO Q7. Oh, yes. Yes. I get it. Yeah, that's what you bought, the Q7. Nice pairing, by the way. Not a bad pairing. What'd you think? Give us a one-line review, Arthur Haywood. What do you think of it? Are you happy with the purchase? JTB needs to hear the OG HE6 under 2000. Yeah, good headphone, classic. I've only heard the HE5. I did not hear the HE6. That's one of those that they put the special plug, the high output plug on the WA5 for, specifically for the HE6. Adnan says, if only everybody, I wish every city had an Audio 46. There's a bunch of high-end audio stores out here. Some great places to go check out gear. There's a place in Santa Monica that's got amazing stuff. JTB says, Adnan, he'd love to hear the OG. Yep.
Are you still on?
We're going to end at 5 o'clock. It's our normal off time.
Bye, world.
Go do your dance class. Go splishity splash through the mud, please.
I will.
I'll bet there's enough of it there.
It's going to be really muddy.
Oh, yes. All right, next time. Arthur Edwards said he had some fun while he was there. He listened to the D8000 Pro he demoed, the Q7 with the Noir and the iFi Griffin. Q7 stomped all over the Griffin with planers and high impedance. Good to know, man. Good to know. I haven't had a lot of FiO experience. I had one of their amps a while back, like portable amp. Thought it was really good. It's cool stuff. They make good stuff, and it's like iFi, it's priced accordingly. So there's supposedly a new HE1000 V2 Stealth Edition in the works. Interesting. Isn't that the SE though? Wouldn't that be the SE? I think my feeling is that pardon the squeaking, that's my neck. My feeling is that HiFiman's going to drop something above the Susvara this year. I think they're gonna shoot the moon, and they're gonna get another endgame. Because if you think about it, the Susvara's been out there a long time, and it would make sense to me for the Susvara to have a bigger brother now, because they can push to 8,000. Look, that they're going to push to like 7,000 or 8,000, $7,500, because they can, and they know there will be a market out there for that. So, but they've got to give something that will deliver better sound than the Susvara. And I can't imagine they haven't been working on an even thinner membrane or stealthier magnets or something to improve on the Susvara sounds. So that's what I expect, JTB. I think we're going to see that. Because what's the SE then? What's the place for the SE if you've got a V2 with more stealth magnet? Because I think the V2 is stealth, isn't it? I don't know. Damn, Michael, you're winning all the awards. I'm not winning all the awards. I'm covering all the awards. I'd take a Grammy. That's kind of the dream. I would want a Grammy. Well, I don't know. I'd want an Oscar. An Oscar would be a cool thing to have. Got the Emmy. I've shown that on the show before. If only you could find an original HE6. Yeah. And make some mud pies. That's for Mrs. Director. And I got informed that one of the headphones I purchased is on its way, so that's good. While we were on the show. So I've got some stuff coming in. We're going to have some new product coming in. I've got an analysis of the Bakun 13R. That's my next episode. I might shoot that tonight, but I'm really tired. I'm going to be falling asleep by 7 o'clock tonight. Such an old man. Such an old man. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for stopping by the Director's Garage. Happy hour, Hump Day Hangout. Again, sorry for the bummer news of Jeff Beck passing. It's never a good time. But we got to kind of share our thoughts on Jeff Beck here. That was kind of cool. Always good to get together with your pals and talk. Oh, man, he was great. He was great. He was great. We'll get some goodbye music started. It's here somewhere. Let's play that. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by the Director's Garage Live. Happy Hour Hump Day Hangout. We got to it on a Wednesday when it's supposed to be. Check out Audio 46. Go over there. Check out below the Director's Garage sale. If there's something you like there, go ahead and drop me a line at that. It's directorsgarage@gmail.com. It's very simple. And I'll write back to you. It's just me hanging out here. But I really do thank you guys for stopping by. It's kind of cool to get back into it. I feel like, I feel bad I haven't gotten an episode out in a while, but we'll get to it. It's all about work. Got to pay for this stuff, man. Got to pay for all the stuff I'm buying. Pay for another wasted money on the HD-820 you all hate. It's fun to find enjoyment out of something so many people dislike. I'd encourage you all to do it. All right, guys, get out of here. Have a great rest of your week. you know, who knows? I've been toying with the idea of doing more live streaming, like maybe dropping in every now and then. We'll try. I want to keep a regular live stream on Wednesdays, but maybe I'll drop in if there's something that's interesting or piques my interest or something. Maybe I'll drop in and do something one day. That'd be kind of fun, just for the fun of it. Anyway, take care of yourself. Have a great rest of your week. Go listen to some good music. Listen to some Jeff Beck tonight. Listen to some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Let's listen to those guitar heroes just for the fun of it. And I'll see you before you know it. Cheers, everyone. Now let's get off the air in a graceful way. That never happens.